All right, so challenging yourself is very important, but what challenge will I take on next? What new hurdle will I try to overcome? And during my challenge of creating a video every single day, what main issue did I have? What almost stopped me from being able to make these videos on a daily basis during my challenge month? That's coming up later in the video. All right, so what I want to do in this video is I want to talk about why it's important to challenge yourself. And if you notice, in the month of December, I uploaded a brand new video every single day. And that was a personal challenge I set for myself. And I did that because I wanted to find a way to make my process of creating videos and editing videos more efficient, more productive, more streamlined. And that's something you get by experience. So I'm listening to a book now, and it's called The Art of Impossible. And it's a really good book. It's by Steven Kotler. I'm about midway through. And basically, it talks about how you have to push your boundaries, push your limits, push what you think is possible. And in the book, he mentions about how Roger Bannister, he broke the 4-minute mile mark in terms of running. And previously, people thought that was impossible. They said it's just not possible for a person to break the 4-minute mile. But in 1954, he did. Roger Bannister broke that mark. And then from there, countless people were able to do it. And now I believe the record holder is at about 3 minutes and 43 seconds. So yeah, you gotta be able to do what's impossible. And that means you gotta challenge yourself. You gotta set yourself up for experiences that make you feel uncomfortable. So let's talk more about this. All right, so as a programmer, as a content creator, as someone who wants to, challenge themselves on a constant basis, to learn new things, to try new things, it's important to, one, know where you currently stand in terms of your capabilities. And that way you can determine what it is that you need to do to elevate your skills. And when it comes to creating videos, I'm not, the best video maker. I'm not the best video creator. I'm not the best storyteller. It's not something that comes naturally to me. So it's something I wanted to see if I can get better at. It's something I wanted to try. And in the process, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about how to speed up my editing workflow. I learned about how to properly set up my keyboard shortcuts. And I think that's a big thing that people should do, whether you're a programmer, a photo or graphic designer, a video editor, or whatever it is you're doing with your technology on your computers. Find a way to master your keyboard shortcuts. And I think that will definitely help streamline your productivity. So what I did was I wanted to make sure I can, one, understand the process of creating videos and, in terms of ideation, content creation, dialogue, storytelling, what the process was. And I required a lot of coffee in order to do that. So I experimented with different types of videos, different types of formats, all focused on programming because that is in essence what I do. I program on a daily basis. I create WordPress themes, I create templates, and I create tools in order to help automate my process of coding and analyzing projects. One thing I like to do that I don't really demonstrate so much, and I probably should, is how to create your own custom tools, because there's a million tools out there for debugging, for analyzing a file, analyzing file types, analyzing projects, because some of these projects like WordPress, it's a very extensive project. There's millions of lines of code in there. And a few years ago, I demonstrated a way or a method on how to analyze, the actual project itself in terms of how many lines of code are there really in WordPress. And I did a quick demonstration on how to do that. And since then, my capabilities of creating tools has increased because, trial and error. That sun glare is massive. That's one thing I like to do. I like to create tools. I like to create things that helps to make my life just a little bit easier, because time is money. Time is something that is always fleeting. It's not something that we have full control over. They talk about time management and productivity and how can you make yourself more productive. But the thing is, you really can't manage time. Time just moves. But what you can do is manage yourself. And if you can manage yourself and the things that command your attention, then your time will be better spent. And it's important because, again, there's things that we enjoy doing, things that we want to do, and things that we need to do. And in order to do the things that we want to do, at least the important things, the big things, we have to first be able to do the things we need to do. So that's why challenging yourself is important. And I want to try to stay on topic here. I want to talk about my experience of uploading videos and why it's important for programmers, people who are learning to code, people who have been coding for years, Why it's important to challenge yourself. It's important because it helps you grow as a person, grow in terms of your skill set. That's obvious. And during my process, when I started uploading videos, I realized that, I often take breaks when I do my video creation because I get really absorbed in my projects that I'm working on. When I come back to creating videos, often I have to relearn things or just try to remember how to do certain things or get reacclimated with how to use certain types of software, because I use Adobe Premiere, I use Camtasia, and I use other tools as well. But in order to make sure that I can be up to date with how the software works, I would have to kind of get readjusted to that, software I'm working with. And that takes time. So I wanted to get more efficient in the editing process, and I wanted to learn how to create different types of videos. And I did different formats. I vlogged in a car, similar to what I'm doing now. And I did videos that were talking head type videos where I was talking about a particular topic. And I did videos where it was more motivational. I have a bunch of those videos because, motivation is something you need. And it's not something you listen to once, not something you do once. You need to do it on a daily basis. It reminds me of, this, I forget who the motivational speaker was. It might have been Brian Tracy or somebody. He was giving a talk at a conference. And somebody said, motivation doesn't work. I tried it, I got motivated for a minute, but then after a week, that's it. I was unmotivated, I was demotivated again. And Brian Tracy says, well, hey, it might have been Brian Tracy. Could have been somebody else, but I think it might have been him. He said, hey, do you take a shower every day? And the guy said, well, yeah, I take a shower every day. He's like, well, motivation is just like that. You have to do it daily in order for it to stick. And that stuck with me because it's true. There's things that we listen to every single day that can take away our attention and change the way we think. And one of the phrases I like a lot is garbage in, garbage out. If you have a lot of garbage coming into your life in terms of what you're listening to, what you're watching, then you're going to probably feel kind of like garbage, right? You're going to not feel the best. It's kind of like eating junk food. You might consume all that ice cream. And I love ice cream. I love chocolate. I love, chips and cheese and some of these other snacks that I enjoy having, right? But if you have too much of it, then that can impact the way your body functions and the way you feel. So again, garbage in, garbage out. Coffee in, productivity out. That's why it's good to listen to motivation often. And I created a bunch of videos on motivation. And then some other videos I did were inspired by another channel that's very popular on YouTube, and I really enjoy watching Jeff's videos from Fireship. He does some really good videos. I challenge myself to try to make some videos similar in terms of his style. And people might say, well, you're copying or, you're just doing what others have done. Well, guess what? That's how life is, right? You're always going to copy somebody else, especially when you're in the process of learning. That's how you learn. And it's a sign of respect, and it's a sign of recognizing that somebody's style works. And then as you grow as a programmer or as a coder or as a content creator, you start to fine tune that into your own style. That's the process of learning. When you're going to take a tutorial, you're going to pick up a book on how to code, you're going to copy the code that's in that book. You're going to create the same project that the instructor was making. And then over time, you're not going to get stuck there, or you shouldn't get stuck there. That's how you get into tutorial hell, where you just keep on doing tutorials after tutorials after tutorials. So what I recommend is do those, emulate what others have done, follow the path, because success leaves clues. And the clues are hidden deep within books and within the technical videos that a lot of people, watch but don't necessarily implement. And that's the thing. You got to implement it, and then you got to make it your own. You got to find a way to reinvent or refactor what's been done to something that works for you. So I created a bunch of these videos, and I did about 32 days straight, 32 days straight, because I started on November 30th, and I uploaded my last video on December 31st. And that was a tough challenge. That was interesting. It pushed me in a different way of thinking in terms of how I managed my time, because I still had other things I wanted to do, Like I still code every day. And during that process, I coded every day. Not as much because I spent a lot of time also figuring out how to create the videos, thinking about what videos I should create, and then editing the videos. At first, I started off really slow until I got reacclimated with the process of, creating videos. Then I got real fast. And that's something I wanted to do. I wanted to become a faster editor. And if you're a programmer, if you're learning to code, the fastest way to become a fast programmer, a fast coder, is to code as much as you can and to learn as much as you can about code. I uploaded a video every single day, but something happened. I got sick 2 weeks into the process of creating videos on a daily basis and uploading videos on a daily basis. It's that time of the season. Something is going around. Everybody has a cough. Everybody's getting sick. And if you know me, you know I have 3 kids. And they're all in school. Germs come home. So I got sick. And I said to myself, this was a challenge that I wanted to do for me, for myself. And I kind of had in the back of my mind the possibility that I would get sick again because it is that time of the season. So I had to change and pivot and rethink about how I was going to create videos while not feeling 100%. Luckily, I didn't catch fever and catch any of that. I just had a real, bad cough and stuff like that. So I just needed to figure out how can I do these videos while not feeling the best. Hence why I started doing a lot of short videos, because I can easily, prep myself for a 2-minute video, make sure I flush everything out, take a steam shower, nasal decongestions, all that good stuff, all the remedies in order to get yourself at least feeling better for a short period of time, because the body has to go through its process. So I had to end up pivoting and I had to adapt to that situation. And I did, because I wanted to finish the challenge. I wanted to challenge myself and I wanted to see if I can make it that nothing would get in my way. And I was happy with the fact that I was able to finish the challenge, able to succeed in doing something that previously I've never done. I've uploaded a lot of videos to this channel, but again, over time, over the years, I've taken breaks. A couple of months here, a couple of months there. I think my longest break was something like maybe 5 or 6 months of not uploading videos. And during that time, you tend to forget a lot and you tend to realize when you come back that things change. The software changes, updates to the programs you're using, they change and you have to get reacclimated. And I think that challenging yourself is very important to do because it'll help you with your skill building. So that's why in the beginning of my challenge on November 30th, I uploaded the video. And the hundreds of thousands of people and the millions of people that didn't see it because it only got like 100 and something views. Let me know if you saw that video. Comment down below. Did you challenge yourself, to something different, to do something that you previously thought you wouldn't be able to do? Maybe it's code for 2 hours a day, or maybe it's code for 4 hours a day, or maybe it was to start the process of learning a new programming language, or to code every single day without fail. Something. It helps you grow. So let me know if you watched that video. Comment down below in the comment section. For me, one thing I want to try to do is I love using different types of code editors and IDEs and stuff like that, right? So I have PHP Storm and I use that because it is literally the best that you could use when you're working on projects that involve PHP, obviously, and WordPress has really good integration with that. And for more everyday type stuff, I like using VS Code because it's a little bit more lightweight and it's a little bit easier to use in terms of the processing. And for that purpose, I really do miss the Atom text editor. I still have it. I actually still use it on a computer that I have that's quasi air-gapped. And it's definitely faster than some of the other editors out there. And there's some other editors that I do use. I use the Nano editor when I'm working on some files on the server. If you work via the command line, that's something that is good to learn to do, because if you're going to work with configuration files, it's good to be able to know how to use a terminal or command line based editor. So Nano's an easy one. Now another one that I've used, and I use every now and then only because I like to just see the experience, is the Vim editor. Now, I'm not going to profess to be a professional at it. I'm not a master at Vim or a Vim ninja. I don't have everything down packed in terms of the workflow. But what I want to do is see or challenge myself to use the Vim editor exclusively. Now, I'm going to start off small on this, right? Because I have to be productive as a coder, as a programmer. I have deadlines that I have to meet in terms of projects that I work on. So there will be times that I need to use something a little bit more robust that I'm familiar with if I'm pressed against the clock. But I want to see if I can at least quasi-exclusively use the Vim editor. Maybe use it for 90% of my daily coding efforts and things of that nature. I want to see how that would feel. It's supposed to be, once you get the hang of it, the best way to become a productive programmer in terms of just using your keyboard shortcuts, and becoming a more efficient and productive coder. So I'm going to try that. Now, I toyed around with the idea of using Emacs. Emacs is another one I've tried out in the past. On that one also, I'm not a pro. When it comes to the command line, the editor that I use virtually all the time is Nano. And with that, I'm much better. But it's also a lot less complicated, right? It's not as robust as Vim or Emacs. So I'm going to use Vim. That's going to be my challenge to myself. I'm going to try it out for like 90% of all the code I do on a daily basis. I'm going to use Vim. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to try to measure myself in terms of how effective I am while using the Vim editor. Do I anticipate I will fully replace using PHP Storm or VS Code? Probably not, because there are a lot of features that these more advanced IDEs have. But then again, that might just be my lack of understanding of how to use Vim, right? If you use Vim on a daily basis as your main driver for writing code, let me know. Give me some tips. Give me some pointers. And the thing is, I just want to challenge myself to try new things out, to get better at things that I'm currently working on. And I think it's good for everyone to do the same thing. I think it's a good idea for people to try to push themselves, push their limits, see how far they can go. You know, push the boundaries of what other people say is impossible. If you can do that, then you prove something to yourself, even if you don't share it with the world. You gotta remember, the vast majority of things you do are for yourself. Now, it might sound selfish saying that, but the reality is we're selfish human beings, right? That's how it is to be human. That's human nature. And that's why even in an airplane, when they talk about safety precautions, they say, you know, in the event of emergency, put your gas mask on first, because you cannot help others unless you help yourself first. Now, the goal should be to help others, but you cannot really help others until you help yourself first. So challenging yourself is very important to do, and I encourage you to challenge yourself as much as you can. All right, so if you enjoyed this video, if you watched my challenge video that I put up on November 30th, let me know. And if you found this video helpful or inspiring or motivating or whatever, give it a thumbs up. And let me know what you think about this format of videos. Do you like the vlog style videos where I just talk about a particular topic or something relevant to programming where I record from the car? I think this is a very interesting format. I might try to do some of these every now and then. This might not be a daily way of creating videos for me, but it's something that I find can mix it up, right? But let me know what your thoughts on this process of creating videos is. And I hope your beginning of 2024 is a good one. I hope whatever resolutions you made, you keep. And I'll catch you in the next video. Happy coding.